Good morning, Internet. This is the old fat dad. Welcome back to another Monday Gun Day. Now, I'm sure all you guys watching this video as it comes out knows that we're in a quarantine situation, a little bit messed up around the world, but for you guys coming from the future, that's why I've got my quarantine beard going on, and that's why I haven't posted that much. It's been hard getting some time to go out to the range and do these videos, but today I found some and we're going to run a little test. I've done a bunch of videos in the past about 22 long rifles effectiveness on all sorts of different targets, and usually when I do my tests they're at about 10 to 15 yards when I'm shooting. I've had some requests to take a look at what kind of damage the old 22 will do at about 50 yards. So I've got 4 of the hottest 22 rounds up here, and then I've got our little control group ammo. And these are all hypervelocity, so they're all running about 1,400 feet per second, putting out about the most energy you can get out of a 22. And this guy is just a regular old high velocity going at about 1,200 feet per second. The target we're going to be shooting today is the dog food, the small game simulator, but at 50 yards. And it's got a tough skin and a meaty interior, and it should give us a good idea about what kind of damage to expect out of each of these rounds. And if nothing else, it'll give us some pretty cool slow motion footage. The rifle I'm going to be using is the Ruger American Target. It has a 16-inch barrel. I've got my little Form 1 silencer on the end of it, and we've got a Vortex Diamondback Tactical up top. Let's get started. I'm going to take all my shots and then we'll take a look at all the cans after we're done and see what kind of carnage we got. We'll start out with our slowest, the Federal Black Pack stuff. And we'll see what kind of damage we do. Oh! That thing took off straight into the air. Alright, let's move on. Alright, next up, the CCI Stinger. Man, these things are hopping. Love it. Let's move on. Okay, next up is the Aguila Super Maximum. Man, that one didn't hop as much. Let's see what kind of damage it did. Okay, next on the plate is the Winchester Hypervelocity. That was a solid hit. Let's check it out. Alright, last shot of the day, got the Remington yellowjackets. And that's a miss. Let's try that again. Interesting thing to note about shooting different kinds of ammo. All of these bullets here, the windage was right on, left to right, we nailed it. This guy right here, consistently shooting about an inch or so to the left. So always make sure to check your zero when you're switching between ammo. Now let's hit that darn dog food and see what kind of damage it does. There we go. That looked really good. Let's check them out. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is my first time making a video in a little over a month, and my skills with the slow motion triggers are awful right now. So if you might have noticed, a couple of those slow motion shots were not exactly the original impact shots. I still have the cans though. We can still take a look at the damage, and I think we got some interesting results. So first up, we got our Federal, regular old high velocity. And if you look there, let me get my head out of this picture. Look there. Come on, camera. You can see those two tiny little bullet holes going in. And we've got some decent holes out the back, but nothing crazy. So those are the entrance. These guys are the exits. Now for a big difference, here is the Stinger. Okay, that is the entrance. It's huge! Blew this can apart even at 50 yards. And out the back is our little exit hole, which, you know, is not crazy big, but take a look at the damage in the front there. That would hurt. Aguila Super Maximum. Very unimpressive, I think. Kind of like the high velocity stuff, just tiny little hole in. And yeah, up here, another tiny little hole in. Definitely not the explosive results we saw out of the Stinger. And out the back, again, nothing crazy. Looks really similar to the standard high velocity stuff. Alright, Winchester always surprises me. Their hypervelocity stuff is pretty darn good, I'd say. That is the entrance, and comparable to the Stinger, I'd say easily. And maybe even a bigger exit out the back. So Winchester hypervelocity always performs good, always does a ton of damage. I'm always impressed. And at 50 yards, it's still trucking, still messing stuff up. Finally, Remington yellowjacket, also usually a good performer. Aside from that big shift in the point of impact, it did a lot of damage. Here, let me show you. Ooh, yeah. There's our entrance, and not as big as the Winchester Stinger, I'd say, but still pretty reasonably large. And out the back, it did have a very big exit. I think this bullet usually expands the best out of all the 22 hypervelocities, and you get a little bit more damage going out the back. So these results, pretty neat. So with the exception of the Aguila Super Maximum, any of these three guys right here are going to put a pretty serious hurting even at 50 yards. And it's always impressive to me what a 22 long rifle can do. For such a tiny little bullet, it's nothing to be trifled with. This will put a serious hurting on you at 0 to 50, no question in my mind. That about wraps it up. Aside from our little snafus with the slow motion, I had a great time shooting. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.